The darkloids' benefactor fires down the orbital launch form of the dimensional area converters, the devices touching down and forming the field around a bank, permitting Bubble Man access to it, where he is in turn stopped by a safe inside the safe. The idiot tries to take the safe with him, but of course the areas can't convert real matter into data normally. It really is limited to just battleships. Meijin asks Rockman and Netto to investigate why they would have done this and taken nothing, as Bubbleman reports his failure, revealing they were after a rare metal their benefactor is in need of. And with Bubbleman being incompetent, it means another Darkloid has to go do it. After school the next day, as Mail offers to do homework with Netto, once more giving a reason why Netto should not be that behind in his classes as a sect of the writers keep depicting him, but he gives away that he got another assignment, where they're expressing once more the audience's frustration at keeping it secret in the way he does. Mail offering to help him out. Yeah, he's never going to be able to say no to her, as evidenced later by Patch. But the thing is, all Netto knows from what Meijin was given was that a dimensional area formed around the area, with no real sign of what they were targeting last night, leaving the pair to just wander aimlessly on patrol, which Mail unintentionally tries to turn into an opportunity for a date. Are the net police not paying him or supplying him with battleships he needs to fight off the darkloids? Cause I kind of think that'd be important to make sure he has the resources he needs to fight them effectively. Regardless, it keeps them within the region for long enough that a dimensional area manifests around the banks again. But there is in turn the downside, as Netto's stuck on the outside of the dimensional area, as Burner Man materializes himself. Which brings us to another aspect that is different with the areas the darkloids form, and that the boundaries of the fields are also hard light holograms themselves. Meaning once one is formed, nothing is getting in or out until the fields dissipate. Coupled with it being very difficult to do anything to break a converter, it makes it so most times the darkloids and their viruses spawn that they won't be interrupted from whatever goal they're after. At least when it doesn't involve directly attempting to attack a net saver like Netto. This once more ramps up the tension for the series by presenting a new dilemma for Netto to overcome. For as I've said, in every incident so far involving a dimensional area, he's been in the middle of it and able to fight back. Now, not so much, as he's stuck on the outside where he is unable to do anything to help. Thus, this then forces the cast to ask the question, how do they overcome that, so their counter-agents can strike back? And unfortunately, Netto just can't this time. Burner Man gets into the vault, melts open a hole in the safe, and takes from it the rare metal they were after. Though this is again a point where the show kind of loses itself, as Burner Man does actually manage to convert the entire metal piece into data to drag along with him. How is a good question on that front, considering if you can convert real matter into data and back again, you've effectively created teleportation technology. If this weren't a standard bad guy, congratulations! Patent that shit! But again, these are more supposed to be in line with generators that manifest hard light holograms, since the virtual world and cyberspace world is not actually a physical place. To be honest, the series does this rarely enough, and later parts of it do involve full-on matter data conversion both ways, that this isn't a big deal for me. Since what this rare metal is of a type that actually is supposed to react with varying electrical states to permit that type of conversion. The same types that actually make dimensional area conversion possible in this setting, as well as both that of the dark chips and synchro chips as a required reagent that, in the synchro chips case, is required for the matter conversion that helps the net navies manifest as a suit for their operators. Regardless, Netto was pretty badly shocked by hitting the wall of the field, waking up in Mail, Yuichiro, and Meijin's care, the latter now having a better idea of what the target in the heist was. Though to contrast what I was just saying, the rare metal Yuichiro used to develop the synchro chips was as a slightly different type than the one Burner Man stole, meaning this reagent that is perceived as more useless than the one Yuichiro needed is more essential for dark chip production. And I think that detail was a bit of a mistake. It would have worked better for the parallels of the story had both synchro and dark chips required the same type of metal reagent for their physical construction. Yeah, the programmed version gets depleted after it's loaded onto a Navi temporarily, so it deliberately makes them to want to crave more. So that's unneeded there. But the physical version? It plays into some of the larger themes of the series about free choice, and that the decision to act good or bad is a choice, up until the point the ability to decide is taken from you by others. With the two paths being, do you value strength and individuality at the cost of connections and servitude to those supplying you with that power and doing anything to gain it? Or do you put your trust in someone to have people around you to support you? For some, it's not an easy choice, and would have fit well with the choice Netto was presented in the previous episode. That's how the dark and synchro chips could have better fit together, since that's what they're already doing, and making how a type of metal is developed result in both types be a flip of a coin of a difference. But that's not that big a deal. As I said, the rare metal is just a MacGuffin for the moment. In the here and now, the episode is focused on the dilemma of needing to get Netto through the outer barrier of a dimensional area in the event that one forms without Netto inside to fight the viruses or darkloid that will manifest within them. Fortunately, Scilab has been repaired enough that Yuichiro was able to set up his dimensional area research again, giving Netto a test model to try getting through the outer barrier with. Yuichiro thinking that it may be possible if Netto triggers cross-fusion at the right time as he's trying to pass through the barrier, then the transformation process will trigger, and the field that expands from him will allow the suit to form over his body, and in turn disrupt the barrier briefly due to the differing types of hard-like holograms interfering with how one is forming within the other, letting him pass safely through it. Yuichiro demonstrating all this with assistance of... Wait. Is that a plush doll of Rockman in Saito style? Oh great, so Saito style did make it into the series. That's rather nice to see. They weren't cross-advertising the show merchandise with this, were they? I'd rather just prefer if it was a sight gag. Regardless, this allows Netto to train to do this in safe conditions in order to figure out not just the timing by which to properly pass through it, but also avoid any severe damage he might take by trying to do this in an actual life or death situation. But as the group comes to realize, well, even when they get the timing right, Netto is neither fast enough or his young body capable of exerting enough force upon the barrier for him to get enough clearance for the transformations field to even partially encompass his body and force him deeper within the barrier. Even trying it with his skates on to build up more speed just isn't enough to do it. I'd say maybe they should requisition for him a motorcycle and road permit, but honestly, unless you're a common rider, well, henshin heroes and two-wheeled forms of transport just do not seem to mix. Fortunately, Netto does have another chance at Burner Man. The darkloids benefactor has informed them that more rare metal that they need to collect will be arriving soon, meaning a face-off is inevitable, as soon as they can figure out how to get him through it properly, as the barrier around the actual areas are thicker than the ones available in the lab, which Yuichiro was able to supply. Fortunately, Netto realizes the key, that there are other ways to build up speed than what a body itself can exert, such as is exemplified by centrifugal force, but also from acceleration due to gravity acting upon your body. Thus, they find a machine in the area they can use as a ramp, which he can build up the speed from, which he uses to breach the barrier, and finally get inside just in time to stop Burner Man from getting more of the rare metal.
どうしてここにお前たちがディメンショナルエリアを張って中と外を遮断しても必ず俺は入ってやる
Though the downside of fighting an elemental Navi like Burner Man is, well, Burner Man has the possibility of doing real serious damage to Netto permanently due to the effect of what extreme heat and fire have on flesh. Thus, this is one of the worst matchups for what could be summoned to the real world, even with Aqua Chips available, and especially due to Burner Man's tendency to charge his opponents wrapped within burning jets of flame. Enough water can still put them out, but then you have to worry in the real world about steam explosions. Fortunately, the bubbler chip deals enough stab damage to force Burner Man to retreat, but with it so late at night, well, saving the world may be done with for the day, but Netto's had no time to actually deal with doing his homework.
どうしよう。お、
Yeah, thought not. The wrap-up. We have Get Under the Dome, for something that really could have been addressed earlier if they had wanted to. We have The Heist, for the plan of the week being just to steal some stuff from a bank. We have Training Arc, for Netto finding a way to get into a dimensional area field. We have Brick Joke, for Netto being prevented from being able to do his homework due to responsibilities that took priority over it from the plot of the week. If you want to show Netto struggling at classes because of everything going on, then this is a far better way to deal with it. Such is actually a recurring trope that no one then tries to help the person that saved the world on the matter of their mundane activities, and is a bit of a pet peeve of mine, as being bad or prevented from focusing on schoolwork is a consistent and fraudulent narrative shortcut used by many writers to depict someone as an idiot. Case in point, Hibiki Tachibana in Symphogear, even when such is not the case. This is once more one of the better episodes so far, doing a few different things with the cast available that hadn't been addressed, showing that Yuichiro is on point in figuring out the dimensional check, getting Meijin in on the sight gags, once more depicting Netto's quick on their feet, but ironically the problem in the episode more seems to be male, in that they claim they want to help, and yet are just there, not really contributing much of anything beyond another tease in the long arc about their affections towards Netto. As much as I have repeatedly said I hate how anime writers depict Netto as an idiot, well, male isn't much better this time around. Though I do more appreciate the screwed over via circumstances route with regards to the Netto dynamic on this one, as opposed to the prior bashing.